You guys see a ton of offensive content on YouTube for Madden 22, but the defensive content definitely seems to lag as it pertains to most channels. Here on the Zan Madden YouTube channel, we do a ton of defensive content, and in today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to lab up your own blitz out of any formation in the game. Let's get into it. What is up, guys? Zan for the Zan Madden YouTube channel. Today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to lab a blitz out of any defensive formation. Yes, any defensive formation in Madden 22 using a simple rule. This is actually the rule that I put forward when I started to create my first defensive game plan out of the nickel 2-4-5, which later basically became a blitz concept that I utilized in the 2-3-6 big dime scheme that I'm running right now. You can get those defenses on gridiron game plans in terms of the coverage that I put behind most of these blitzes that I like to run. So in today's video, we're going to basically show you guys the magic spot that you want to put your user and one other defender in a defensive formation. Now, you might want to lab up the way that you crash your defensive line, depending on whether you're in a 3-4 or 4-3. If you guys are enjoying today's video, could you please do me a quick favor? Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. It would help me immensely as we're pushing towards 12,000 subscribers here on the channel. I really do appreciate the continued support. And, looking forward to the next 1,000. I'm going to first show you guys here, we're in the Chicago Bears defense, and I'm going to show you guys how to create a simple blitz out of the nickel 2-4-5 odd. As you guys know, this is a really meta defensive formation, but the blitzes that you typically face are telegraphed as all heck. I mean, we all know what the pinch 2 meta is at this point, but there's a little bit more meat left on that bone that you guys can run some extra pressures from. So let's go ahead and put the cover 3 cloud on the field, and I'm going to choose a 5-out offense. This is really something that I think is important. A lot of people mix up their blitz ratios. They don't really understand what the timing of blitzing is in the game. My suggestion for those of you that play this game is to take more of a conservative approach to defense. Always give a look of a blitz, but don't send it for as long as possible, and then lure your opponent into a sense of security where they like to rely on sending the running back out or the running back and the tight end out, and we call that a 5-out offense. So most blitzes in the game are 5-out blitzes. You don't typically see a ton of max protect beater blitzes in this game because the user's not that great. So if you're sending everybody, people are open, whether it's man or zone. But in general, the way that you can lab blitzes in this game is to basically have 2 players in the magic spot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these linebackers out of the gaps, and I'm going to show you exactly what the magic spot is. Now, I will say, to be certain, the way that you're going to best get this to work is by having 4 guys up front blitzing. So what you're going to want to do is kind of create 4 guys up front. So for this formation in particular, we're going to have this defensive end, this defensive tackle, this defensive end, and then this edge rusher all rushing on this play. So you see that we have that right here. Now, for this to work, what you're going to want is to have 2 linebackers that are basically at the magic line of blitzing. And if you don't know what that is, if you basically put a player too close to the line, the game automatically moves them back. And what you want is the player to butt right up against that line to the point where the game doesn't auto move them back. So you see how it does that? You're going to get kind of a muscle memory down with this. You know, you're going to get used to knowing exactly where you can place them and the game not move them. But you're going to have one of the 2 guys blitzing. Now, right here in this formation, the 2-4-5 odd, we're going to try to lab up out of this look. So if I snap this ball, you should see there's kind of a B-gap pressure. It actually caused a disengage. If you guys are getting that when you're starting to lab a blitz, you're well on your way. Sometimes it's as simple as shifting your line a different direction. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the magic trick here. I'm going to put Smith here on this blitz assignment, and I'm going to stand right here. Maybe with this overload, you're going to see the line overshift to the right, but potentially not. So you see here, I snap this ball, and we try to get that B gap through the middle right there, and it caused that disengage again. So here with this particular play, the blitz angles of the defensive line are impacting the way that this is being picked up. Thank you for checking out this free content over here on the Zan Madden YouTube channel. If you guys are enjoying this content, make sure that you guys also check out my strategy website, gridirongameplans.gg. Gridiron Game Plans is your one-stop source for all things competitive Madden. Every week in our Vault update, we go over the meta, or the most effective tactics available being used by pro players on the MCS circuit, breaking down not only how and why the pros do what they do, but most importantly, how you can counteract those metas when you face them in online gameplay. On top of that, your subscription also includes any and every game plan on the site all year long for just the low price of $9.95 a month, and you guys get access to our Discord channel, where we have members of the Gridiron Game Plans community chatting daily, helping each other get better at the game And this also includes a lab session every single Wednesday night on the channel. So make sure you guys get over to the website. If you guys are looking for the best escape artist defense in the community, you have to look no further. GridironGameplans.gg. Now back to the video. So naturally, you would want to go ahead and try different crashes. So you see that Khalil Mack is rushing too far to the inside. Maybe you try a different crash, whether that be up or you know, a different crash, or maybe even a different formation altogether. But again, we're going to go through a bunch of different formations here. So as long as you put one of the two linebackers at the magic spot where they don't move, and then you user the other one in that same magic spot to the other gap, you should see that the line really struggles. You saw right there, we basically got free edge pressure. Kind of bumped into some players right there. But again, you see that that principle starts to come through. Now, this is a lot easier out of formations where you definitely have four guys across the line. It doesn't matter whether it's a 3-4 or a 4-3, you're going to notice that the effects are pretty much the same. So let me go ahead and go into, let's go into the 3-4 Predator. That's kind of a formation that has four across, and we're going to show you this same principle out of this formation. So we've got four guys across the line: Mack, Nichols, Goldman, Hicks, and you're going to want two players at the magic spot. So basically one here, and your other's user. So we've got them at the magic spot. You see Roquan didn't jump out. I'm going to blitz Roquan. And then I'm going to stand right here with my user. Probably for this coverage, you would shade down to have this safety just rotate into the flat, take away the quick throws, and you'd back up in the seam. So we're going to see right here if it causes a free edge pressure. And you see right there, we were kind of close. So what you're going to do here is you're going to try to make some tweaks to this. So you're going to go ahead and go base a line here. I'm going to go ahead and crash my defensive line down. Let's put Trevathan here, and then I'm going to use a Roquan Smith. And we'll see here that it ends up getting, basically we had a free runner, but Khalil Mack decided to edge threat our opponent right there rather than just come in free. I'm going to go ahead and pull him off the field here. So you're starting to see how you can create some interesting pressures. The other thing that I kind of want to talk about here is exactly what we just saw. You saw that we had a free runner off the edge, but Khalil Mack made an effort to go and basically derail that left tackle for no reason. To me, I'm kind of a believer this year in not having edge threat. I'm a believer in not having X factors on your D-line because they look to do extra stuff other than just come in free. So again, you know, I'm running this time I have no ability, and you see that the guy came in free off the edge, which is really, really crazy. Again, I know it sounds nuts that, you know, Khalil Mack went and just obliterated, but really what it is because you have an ability on the edge player, he's looking to get one of his special animations from his ability. Whereas sometimes it's as simple as, hey, I've got a setup where the guy's going to get free pressure. Why would I want him to go roll over the tackle for no reason when I could just get him free off the edge? So again, you see right here, he gets kind of that free run right off the edge when you do it this way. And again, all we're doing is blitzing with a 5-on-5 in this situation. So that's kind of a way that you got it out of some 3-4. Now, again, let's kind of just go through some different formations. Here's the 3-3-5 will, you know, kind of similar to 2-4-5. You know, in this particular formation, again, very, very, very simple. You know, my suggestion is probably not to spread your line. I would just go ahead and put your linebackers in the spot. Again, the spot is about 2.5-3 yards off the ball in between the A gaps. One of them needs to be blitzing, the other can be usered. With this, you're going to get one of the two defensive ends free. So again, you see right here, we ended up actually with loop pressure out of this situation, but you could maybe crash up and get that guy to not, you know, come in the same way. So again, you want to mess with your crashes in this type of defense. So maybe I don't do anything. I just kind of set it up like this. And you see right there, we got a free runner right off the edge. Again, based off of whether you shift or spread or crash left, crash right, crash up, crash down, you're going to get different pressures. But the general rule of thumb is if you have your linebackers in the magic depth, which is about 2.5-3 yards off the ball, and in the A gaps, one is blitzing and one is the user, somebody's coming free. So in that previous example, I was using Roquan and blitzing Ogletree. Now I'm going to go ahead and put Roquan in the magic spot, and I'm going to use a Ogletree, and you see the exact same behavior. Free runner right off that left side, right to the quarterback. Now, again, playing back into what I'm talking about from an ideology standpoint, no matter what defensive scheme you want, try your hardest to give that look as much as possible, but not send it. So let's go ahead and play like a little nickel triple here. If I were playing this particular defense, my goal would be, and I'm going to pull this guy back, my goal would be to show this look as much as possible. Maybe even spy a guy, just run it as a base 3-man rush, you know, something like this over and over and over, get them to a point where they feel comfortable basically sending 5 guys out on routes because you're only rushing 3, and then boom, you pick up on that tendency where they're sending the running back out and you want something a little bit quicker than a double team split, which is what we got on that previous rep. You go ahead and blitz that linebacker in the gap, and you stand in the magic spot for your respective A gap, and boom, pressure right off that edge. Again, you saw that Khalil Mack went and looked for an engagement animation there. Whereas if I pull him off the field and put somebody with no X factor, no edge rushing abilities here, you're going to get a better result. I know it sounds crazy, but this is the way I played defense all year. I did have X factors on my defensive edge rushers for the majority of the year. And I just noticed that every time I got them in the zone, my defense played worse, which was so bizarre to me. But again, when you go back into this type of look here, again, if I put the guy in the magic spot, here's Ogletree right there in that 2.5, 3 yard depth. I'm going to put Roquan right here. You know, I kind of stand in this spot. You can hold strafe if you want. You could use the lock-in tip if you want to as well. But again, you see right here, slides right in, and you saw that Gibson actually got a pretty good run off the edge. Now, if you're getting those recovery animations from the tackles, sometimes it might be better for you to, because I mean, the guy that's blitzing and the guy you're using are basically in the same spot. You might go ahead and put Roquan in the spot, and then you go ahead and user the other guy. So you see right here in this situation, you know, maybe this will make the tackle really slide down, and then you see, boom, he comes in right free off the edge. So some of your blitz setups might, you know, involve you blitzing one guy as opposed to the other. You know, sometimes you might want to shift your line because, again, you know, if you do it this way, you could get a totally different effect. Again, it's the same principle, but, you know, you might get different results based off of how you shift your line. Again, you're going to kind of get down the muscle memory for where to place people. Pretty simple. If you go back a couple of weeks ago, I did a video out of the nickel normal, and I showed you pinching the defensive front as a whole, stack the linebackers perfectly at that depth. This is the same principle, but how to basically create it out of any defense where a shift wouldn't necessarily get your guy there. But again, here you see right here, I snapped the ball, you know, free runner right off the edge, same deal. And all I did there was I shifted my line to one side. So I could basically create anything I want out of nearly any formation. Again, the general rule of thumb is you want 4 guys across the first tier of the defense, and then you want your 2 players at the second tier of the defense. Let me, for instance, go ahead and go into a 4-4 split. I wouldn't recommend necessarily running the 4-4 split. Again, I'm just trying to show you that conceptually this applies. You know, any formation you want, you can create a pressure on the fly. So, you know, maybe I spread the defensive line, crash them down. You know, Roquan's going to go here. Trevathan's going to go here. Maybe I blitz Trevathan, right? Again, you want him over the A gaps as much as possible and at that depth. Sometimes you're not going to get him close enough. That's really key, is if you can get him right up against that line, you should be getting a guy free. So you see right there, there's Akeem Hicks right off the edge. Any formation you want, as long as there's 4 across, the line is going to slide down to pick up that A gap and let a guy come in free off the edge. Let's go ahead and finish it up with one last example here for you. What if you want to do something out of 3-3-5 wide? This is really interesting, actually, because there's only 1 second level player, right? So let's say that for whatever reason, we wanted to do this out of the Tampa 2. And again, a 5-out offense. If I were to go ahead and put Roquan in this spot, obviously with this would end up being you got 4 guys up front, one of which is dropping this edge right here is the 5th guy, and he's dropping in his zone. You would basically need to have you know, a second player. So I'd pull that nickel corner in. Now this might not guarantee your pressure, but you see right there, it did. Certain formations, if you kind of have 2 players in that spot, you can create this look. Again, it requires both of those second level players to be about 2.5 to 3 yards off the ball and over the A gaps. So again, here, if I put Roquan Smith on a blitz assignment, this time I'm going to rush Quinn, and I'm going to drop Mac into a zone, because now he's basically, you know, geeked out. But if I try it this way, now I'm doing it like this, you might see the line allow the other guy in free, which is exactly what happened. You know, just kind of barely a touch and go shed for an easy sack. Now, again, you see here Khalil Mack's in the zone. I talk about how this is, you know, can be a little bit weird. Sometimes when they're in the zone, the offensive line targets differently. The guy looks to get a crazy animation. So you see right here, he basically bumped into a guy and then went straight at the tackle. It could have been coincidental, but again, I've seen it happen more than a fair shake to know that, you know, this is something that does happen in this game. So I'll motion away. Hopefully he doesn't bump into anybody here. You know, if he comes in, great. I'm just telling you that the X factors tend to do some weird things to the game in terms of targeting. And you see right there, that's exactly what happened. It basically created a B gap pressure because that guy was in the zone. Ideally, you want Khalil Mack coming in free, not Akeem Hicks. It's a faster player off the edge, easier to chase down a quarterback if they escape artist, something like that. So either way, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Hopefully this will make whatever defense you run more viable for you. I know there's a lot of players out there that say, I want to run this formation, but I can't blitz out of it, so I can't run it. Or I only use this particular formation on 3rd and long. Well, now you've got a situation where pretty much any formation in the game can be usable in the right down and distance because you can create your own pressures consistently in Madden 22. Hope you guys liked today's video. If you did, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow with our next video upload. Until then, this is Zan, getting the rat. It's been a while since I screwed one up. Get in the lab and good luck.